Okay, getting back to what I was saying. This series also showed the return of two other Rangers. The two Rangers, first of all, were Adam, who returned as Mighty Morphin Black Ranger, but it was only for a very short period because the morpher that he was using was damaged beyond repair, but still powerful enough to allow him to morph, but only for a short time before causing the thing to demorph on him. Another Ranger we saw return was, of course, believe it or not, Justin. Justin returned in the episode True Blue, where he basically is picked up by can't even think, by one of those Zord-like cars from Turbo. I think it's Blue Lightning or something like that. And basically the Blue Lightning Zord, if you will, takes him to his friends to help them out. And of course, it has an extra turbo morpher along for the ride, which is a little weird, seeing as though the turbo morphers were destroyed. But then again, maybe the cars have those extra morphers, which would explain why TJ had his turbo morpher in Forever Red. Now after that, and a couple of other filler episodes that I could think of, we end up finally getting the finale, which is Countdown to Destruction, the two-parter. And basically, Doc Spector says it is time to attack all the universe. So he sends all the villains that you have seen throughout the series to all different planets of the universe to overwhelm it and capture it. But while he's doing this, Doc Conda, who apparently wants more power and wants to be the one in charge, decides that since he has one life left, because believe it or not, this guy could get destroyed so many times almost, or a certain amount of times that he just keeps bouncing back, he decides that he's got so many lives left, that he's only got one life left, I should say, that he's going to make the best of it, and he's going to attack and destroy Doc Spector and take command and take his place as the ultimate ruler. Well, he does end up attacking Doc Spector, but this attack ends up backfiring on him as Doc Spector swallows him, but by doing so, it ends up destroying Doc Spector as well. Astronema, of course, sees this as a unique opportunity, like things couldn't be better for her, and she assumes control as the ultimate queen of evil, which, of course, not all the main villains are happy about, especially Divatox. Because Divatox apparently feels as though she's more suitable being the ruler than anybody else. Well, anyway, long story short, the Rangers are basically in retreat, and they don't know, and they have to come up with a plan to finally free the city, because the city and the people there are just running for their lives, trying to figure out what to do next. Andros, of course, decides the only thing that can make this all right is for him to go to the Dark Fortress and try to retrieve his sister, try to make her realize that what she's doing is not her doing, that it's the control of the cybernetics that's making her do it. And basically, as he gets up there, he engages in battle with Astronema. Well, he finds Zordon up there first and everything, and Zordon tells him that the only way things can be back to normal, basically the only way things can be saved, is if Andros shatters his spear, or shatters his time tube, and thus allows his energy wave to go across the galaxy. Now, of course, Andros is a little reluctant to do this, but before he could even finally consider, okay, perhaps you're right, Astronema comes in, and he battles Astronema to the point that he reflects one of her lasers back at her, and thus kills her, if you will, by accident. Now, Ecliptor, yeah, that's his name, Ecliptor, who's like a father figure, and I mentioned this earlier in the last part. Ecliptor is enraged about what just happened and battles Andros. But Andros is able to weaken Ecliptor to the fact that Zordon tells him once again, it's your duty, your destiny as a Power Ranger to do this. So finally, Andros does shatter Zordon's time tube, thus killing him, but allows his energy wave to go across the galaxy and basically just wipe out all the evil. And how does this happen? Well, his energy wave takes all the monster figures like Ecliptor, Elgar, Goldar, and Retor, the Machine Empire, and basically reduces them to dust. But then takes people like Zed and Rita and reverts them back to humans. Now, Linkara can explain why this is happening, why they reverted back to humans, but I think I have an idea. Well, he also reverts Divatox back into being a human as well. But I think I have an idea of what's going on. The way I look at it, with Rita and Zed and Divatox being reverted back to humans, as well as Corone being reverted back to her old self, it seems to me that when Dark Spectre, who obviously was the ultimate ruler, if you will, of evil in the show, the only thing I can think of is Dark Spectre captured Rita, captured Zed, and made them into these monsters, and thus gave them to other people. Now I know you're saying, well, wait a minute, what about Master Vile? He's Rita's father, right? He might be her adoptive father when you think about it. I mean, just like Corone didn't know she was really good when she was Astronomer and then found out she was. Same thing here with Rita and Zed. Maybe they didn't know they were human at first. Maybe they couldn't remember that they were human. And when Zordon's energy wave went right through them and inverted them to humans, it reverted them back to the old selves. And the same could be said with Divatox. Maybe Divatox was adopted. Maybe Divatox's adopted mother raised her to being who she was, but when Zordon's energy wave came across, it changed her back to being who she was in the past. Basically, it brings out all the goodness that's in the people out and reverts them back to the old human selves. That's my only thought about it. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. But anyway, after this is all said and done, and the world is saved, the universe is saved, and everything is back to normal, they return to KO-35. Now it looks at first that Andros is going to stay behind with Zane and Corone, leaving Ashley heartbroken. But then again, as soon as they're about to take off, Andros shows up and tells Deca to set a course for Earth, which makes Ashley happy because Andros finally realizes his home is with them. And thus Zane and Corone also come aboard because I guess they feel as though home is with them as well. And overall, that's my look at all three Power Ranger series that I know of, that I followed closely. And quite honestly, I know a lot of people might think that the ending of Countdown to Destruction was a good ending, but some might also consider that it was a stupid ending. Like, why all of a sudden with this energy wave suddenly turn everybody like Zed and Rita and Divatox not only back into humans, but turn them into goody goods? You know, to the point that makes you go, bleh! Well, I'm not saying that I did that, but it makes you wonder. I'm not saying that I did that, but I'm probably sure some others have. But it makes you but some people might say it was a little retarded the way the ending was. But then again, it was a good ending, because if Zordon is pure energy, is pure good, then it's going to take all the other characters and turn them good as well. So, villainous characters, that is. But again, overall, that's my look at the Power Ranger shows. And again, I do have to agree with Linkara on one thing. Power Rangers in Space did help save the franchise. Now, if this was the last time for Power Rangers, it would have gone off on a high note. But it didn't. Instead, Power Rangers in Space helped continue on the Power Ranger franchise, even into Lost Galaxy. Now, Lost Galaxy was the first official Power Ranger series to do something that became a tradition from then on, and that's do a crossover with all the other Power Ranger series. They did a crossover, 2-episode crossover with Power Rangers in Space. Then the following one, which was Lightspeed Rescue, did a crossover with Lost Galaxy in a 2-parter. Then Lightspeed Rescue did a 1-episode crossover with Time Force. Time Force did a crossover with Wild Force. And I think Wild Force did a crossover with Ninja Force, or Ninja Storm. Ninja Storm did one with Dino Thunder, and so on and so on and so forth. Now I know you're probably thinking, well, wait a minute, didn't they do a crossover in Zeo with the Accretion Rangers? Well, yeah, you might consider that a crossover, but it really wasn't a crossover that much, seeing as though the Accretion Rangers were already part of the series from, the 3rd season. So it really wasn't much of a crossover. As much as it was just the first time both teams fought together. So, not really much of a crossover between two Ranger teams, just the first time they fought together, because like I said, the Accretion Rangers were there before. But that's all I have to say in this 10-parter, I guess you could say, or 9-parter. Hope you enjoyed it. You got any questions, let me know. I'll talk to you all later.